Every once in a while, I like to go back and play an aircraft at top tier completely bone stock, at least for a couple matches, just to get an idea, a feel of what you guys are experiencing when you unlock these new jets, because as many of you know, content creators that are partnered on this game don't actually have to grind vehicles really anymore. And I'm very thankful for that, but it can lead you to be a little disconnected from the community and the average experience of the average player. And so doing something like this is good to do once in a while. But man, let me tell you, I have not had a more miserable experience playing War Thunder than this stock test run that I did just recently. Some of these clips, you see me, I have bombs on the plane. I did play a few matches with nothing at all and just see how much RP and SL I could get. But basically nothing. I get slammed out of there by active radar homing missiles. All I've got is my two 9Ls, and I can pretty much never even get within range of a target to shoot them, and if I do, they pretty much just flare it away regardless. And so after I suffered long enough doing that, I went ahead and threw some bombs on, because that's probably the most common way any of you grind top tier jets, as you just unlock the very first bomb modifications you can and try to hit some bases. And while I have been kind of vocal about being against this in the past because it is sort of detrimental to your team, at the same time, especially these days, I definitely recognize that this is pretty much all you guys can reliably and consistently do to get any research points at all for your top tier jet. We are a minute and 40 seconds into the video now. I'm sure this has been commented already many times because it's a little late for me to mention this, but I do know that Gaijin plans on changing this and fixing many of these problems with a coming update that is assumed to be sometime this week. Maybe it's out already, and if that is the case, we're just going to use this video as a kind of looking back and see how not fun this really was and why the change needed to happen. If you don't know, Gaijin plans on adding some stock radar missiles and making some battle rating decompression adjustments that should help a lot of these top tiers out, especially so being stock. But there are still a couple of things that I don't see being changed right now, and if they're not changed, it's still going to be a massive problem for stock grinding. Number one is stock chaff. I still have not seen anything about chaff coming out as a stock option on these planes. You still only get flares only, and you have to research chaff. This pretty much means you absolutely have to hug the deck at all times, otherwise you're going to be eating AMRAMs. The problem with that even is that the multipath is still just too low. You cannot reliably hug the deck on most maps because of tree height, because of terrain. The slightest dip in a valley that you're flying over can result in you dying, and you pretty much have to find some water if you want to reliably multipath missiles, but even then you have a good chance of dying to splash damage. So basically, not having any chaff is a massive detriment to your plane. Adding to this, as I said at the beginning of the video, many of you like using bombs and hit some bases, and that's the main way you're getting RP right now, really just because you have two IR missiles that aren't very helpful in the current meta if you don't have any radar missiles to go along with them. And again, you're simply not going to be reaching those bases in many cases if you don't have chaff and you can't reliably multipath missiles. And as a stock plane, both of those are true. Of course, if you are using bombs, you probably already have research chaff, but it's not necessarily a guarantee. I will say in my personal experience doing this, I averaged about 4,000 RP a game if I deduct my premium account. As you can see on screen there, I got 8,000 RP from that game. I had 1 kill and a base or 2 destroyed. And that was one of the better games, I would say. So maybe 4,000 average is even a little bit high, because most of the time, if I was lucky enough to actually get bombs off on bases, I didn't get any kills for the rest of the match. So with that being said, I'd say it's pretty fair that I got 3,000 to 4,000 RP a game if you take away my premium account. When you consider the fact that every single modification at this rank of jets is in the tens of thousands of RP, most of the time, of course, there's some tier 1s that are often just like 8,000 RP or something like that, but usually you're looking at 10k minimum, sometimes in the 20ks. Point is, it takes a very long time to get these modifications, and it's going to be a very long time until you get to your good missiles. One of the most frequent questions I get is, how do I stock grind X plane? You name a plane, people want to know how to grind it stock and how to be more efficient with it. And unfortunately, I really just don't have an answer for you guys. There is no secret trick that you can do that helps you grind a stock plane any faster. There are some tactics you can try that maybe will increase your chances at, say, getting bombs off on a base And the best thing I have to recommend for you is just don't go rushing in straight down the middle of the map. Hang off to the side of the map, let your team start the engagement, and see if you can sneak in around the side or come in from an unpredictable angle, and maybe you'll be able to sneak in your bomb load and then go quote unquote fighter mode or whatever and see if you can get a kill after bombing bases. This is the way I had my success getting RP as a stock plane. Maybe you do something better and you get more RP, that's great. If you have different tactics, let people know in the comments down below. Maybe they'll want to try that out, but this is just what I do and it's the best I can come up with. Of course, winning the game has a lot to do with how much RP you're getting. You definitely want to try to win where possible, but as a stock aircraft, you really don't have too much say in winning or losing, so a lot of it's just in the hands of your teammates. And that being said, it might not be a bad idea to squad up if you can do that. Find a friend that is already spaded and is competent with the game, and hopefully if you get enough of those friends on your team, they can kind of sway the match in favor of a win for you, and that way of course you get more RP for winning. But I mean, yeah, from my experience playing any top tier jet right now without radar missiles and without bombs, forget about it. You are not going to be getting any kills, you're not going to be getting any RP, and it is going to take a lot of painful matches of just eating active radar homing missiles over and over and over again until Gaijin finally gives you enough pity RP to research a bomb load. And then, finally, you might be able to sneak some bombs off on bases and start making some real RP. But hey, all that matters is whether or not the game is realistic. We of course don't care about what anyone else has to deal with game in and game out. That doesn't have AMRAMs, doesn't concern me. I like going 15-1 and my F-16C with AMRAMs. That I busted out my wallet for and just bought all of the modifications to get in the first place. Thank you. And that makes me want to put it out there that to everybody that really enjoys the active radar homing missile gameplay and really likes the 60-meter multipathing, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for thinking that way. You have your opinion, that is fine. But I do highly encourage you to at least try to play some of these other jets and maybe try to play some of them stock that don't have active radar homing missiles. For example, go back and try to play the Su-27, for example, with just ERs, or try to play a stock plane that doesn't have any radar missiles. You get the point. Try to play something that isn't just the Fox 3 meta, but still has to face these Fox 3 meta planes every single game, and tell me how fun it really is for you. It does look like Gaijin is looking to fix a lot of this with some of the battle rating decompression, which is extremely welcome, but that doesn't change the fact that the past month we've had to deal with this, and to all of you who have had to put up with this and were really excited about getting something like an F-15C, only to be faced with this absolutely dogshit stock grind, I really do feel bad for you. This is the sort of thing that aggravates me, not only from Gaijin's end, but also from the community's end. Gaijin is so quick to add things to the game like AMRAMs that completely break the entire game for anybody that doesn't actually have them. And the community is so quick to jump on the hype train of this is awesome, we love this new addition, finally the IR furball is gone, but we don't really think about the consequences. This is the kind of stuff Gaijin needs to be thinking about before they add it to the game, because then you get situations like this where it is already added, there's nothing you can do about it, and it takes them over a month to do anything to fix it. So I think I'm going to leave off the rant right there. This stock grind little playtest thing I did was probably the worst War Thunder gaming I've ever experienced. Again, I feel really sorry for all of you who are going through it right now, but hopefully these new changes, hopefully coming this week, we're not really sure when they come, but regardless, I hope they do something to make it a little bit easier and more fun. That's all for the video, and I'll see you guys later.